Captain Christopher, this is my first officer, Lieutenant Commander Spock.
Where would Star Trek be without Mr. Spock?
You are a sensualist. You bet your pointed ears I am.
Join Mr. Spock and the crew of the Enterprise on their intergalactic journey today at 4.
Pronounced tally-ho.
In Pittsburgh, this is Channel 11, the news station.
Good afternoon. I'm Bob Cochran. In the news today, South Vietnam is giving up another province. A Pittsburgh teenager has been charged with murder, and a local state senator has had a sentencing date set. But right at the top of today's news, there ought to be less heroin, marijuana, and some other drugs available in the Clearton area today in the wake of a major drug bust that took place there. Jack ETZEL has the details.
A total of 30 police and an undisclosed number of undercover agents have made a substantial drug bust in Clairton. Before dawn this morning, warrants were being served and attempts made to arrest more than 20 individuals as a result of narcotic buys by the undercover men. Included in the undercover purchases were more than 27 grams of heroin, another 9 packets of heroin, 1,000 capsules of papaverine, and a large quantity of marijuana. The undercover work, which resulted in today's arrests, actually began back in August of 1974 by Clairton Police and the Pennsylvania State Police narcotic officers at the urging of Clairton Police Chief Kenneth Ujevich. Jack ETZEL, Channel 11 News Watch.
About half of the people the police were looking for were already in custody by noon today, and those arrests are continuing.
A 15-year-old high school student is being held for the murder of an elderly Pittsburgh woman. 15-year-old Walter Lowenberg was arraigned on murder charges last night for the beating death of 83-year-old Nevada Bellman of Shadyside. The county coroner's office says Mrs. Bellman was beaten to death with a blunt weapon sometime last Friday morning. Homicide detectives haven't determined a motive for the killing yet, but the youth arrested lived in the same apartment building as Mrs. Bellman.
Milk is a natural, milk is a natural.
I like milk with a BLT.
Milk's still a good value to me.
Sure tastes good with a fricassee.
Milk is a natural.
They really like milk, with snacks, meals, or just by itself. That's why I try not to run out.
Milk is a natural.
I drink milk, help me grow.
It's milk and cheeseburgers at the show.
I have some with my sloppy Joe.
Milk is a natural.
Kmart is your savings store, where your dollar buys you more.
Today through Saturday, Kmart is having a tremendous sale on sport coats and slacks. The slacks are polyester double knit with flared legs and full belt loops. Just $7 a pair for solids or patterns. They look great with these polyester sport coats priced at a low, low $19. A complete sport outfit for $26.
You are looking at our country through the spotlessly clean world of natural gas, exactly as it comes from the earth, immaculate. But for us, this gas still has a road to travel before it's clean enough for you. Here, the gas is cleaned of even invisible impurities. Then other parts are taken away to be transformed into your stylish new threads, plastic playthings, and camera film to remember it all by. Behold a thing of beauty, a gas pipeline wending its clean, invisible underground way to 40 million families. Because natural gas is so clean, in such demand, it's also in short supply, like all other forms of energy. It's a problem the gas industry is working on, searching out new sources. It's a problem that requires government cooperation. Gas must keep traveling this road to clean. America's gas lines are her lifelines.
The South Vietnamese government is abandoning a fourth province, Quang Tri, in the face of a heavy North Vietnamese buildup. Government officials also indicated that they are thinking about giving up a fifth province, which would be the old imperial capital of WEIC. Now, to the south of Quang Tri province, the fighting has eased off a bit.
Each day, this armored cavalry outfit commutes to the war from its headquarters in Phnom Penh. It doesn't take long. That portion of the front this unit is assigned to is only about 6 miles north of the city at a small crossroads called Trac Panu. And it's there that the government claims its troops have finally stopped the enemy's advance. Near the front, government artillery positions look like this. When the commander was asked why his guns were not even raised to a firing position, he said it wasn't necessary because he fired only on the request of frontline units. And right now, they're not asking for any fire support. The commander also claimed he had plenty of ammunition and was authorized to fire 100 rounds per gun per day, or 3 times more than normal. But he admitted that this was all the ammunition he had on hand, and he wasn't sure when more would come. One reason some frontline troops weren't asking for any fire support is because they weren't doing very much, certainly little or no fighting anyway. This outfit, in fact, was pulling out. No one would say where they were going for security reasons. But often, whole units just take off for Phnom Penh and take a break there whenever they want to. It's that kind of a war.
Meanwhile, in Cambodia, 1,000 university students held a rally today asking the U.S. Congress for an end to aid to Cambodia. They feel more aid would only prolong the war rather than lead to a peaceful settlement.
State Senator Frank Mazzei is going to be sentenced on the 28th of this month for extorting more than $20,000 in kickbacks on some state real estate leases. District Court Judge Ray Marsh set that date yesterday, and at the same time he turned down Mazzei's bids for acquittal or a new trial. The Southside Democrat is still sitting in the state Senate, and he's been appointed to 2 very powerful committees. And it might be that he can stay there even after he's sentenced, pending the outcome of any appeal he might make. The appeals process, by the way, could take as much as 2 years.
Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis flew back to Paris today after burying her second husband, shipping tycoon Aristotle Onassis, on his private Greek island of Skorpios yesterday. She was accompanied by her 2 children and her mother, Mrs. Hugh Auchincloss. Jacqueline's brother-in-law, Senator Edward Kennedy, attended the funeral yesterday, but he immediately flew back to New York. Band leader Skitch Henderson has asked that his 6-month jail sentence for filing false income tax returns be reduced. He said the court was wrong in calling his music library practically worthless. Henderson was charged with falsely evaluating its worth at $350,000. Henderson said the damage to his professional career has been catastrophic. In addition to the jail sentence, he was fined $10,000. Former film swimming star Esther Williams has waived a jury trial in drunken driving charges. She has submitted the case to a municipal court judge in Oxnard, California. The 53-year-old Miss Williams said an unspecified medical problem may have caused her to fail a sobriety test after being arrested by the California Highway Patrol last Christmas night. Accompanied by her husband, actor Fernando Lamas, Esther Williams was charged with driving erratically. San Francisco Mayor Joseph Alioto and his wife Angelina have resolved their marital problems. Mrs. Alioto filed for divorce on February 26th, but she dropped the action yesterday. The mayor has now moved back into the family home. She made news last year when she disappeared for 18 days, later explaining she was searching for the privacy which has been denied her because of public life. The Aliotos have been married for 33 years. They have 6 children. White House News Secretary Ron Nessen says the legacy of Watergate has made it difficult for government spokesmen because of the credibility gap it created. John Cochran has more.
He and President Ford have tried to make as much information as possible available to the public. But Nessen admitted his own relations with reporters have sometimes been rocky.
The most difficult part of my job these past 6 months has been to overcome a mood of hostility and suspicion and distrust that was built up between the press corps and the White House during the Watergate years and the Vietnam years. And I have only been partly successful in this. It's not easy to change a mood that has grown steadily worse in recent years. One of the terrible legacies of Vietnam and Watergate is that many reporters and many of their readers and viewers and listeners simply do not believe what government officials tell them.
Knutson was asked whether he would follow the example of President Ford's first press secretary and resign if he deeply disapproved of something Mr. Ford did. Knutson said that was a hypothetical question, and he declined to answer. John Cochran, NBC News, Washington.
There isn't going to be any new coal mine in North Versailles Township after all. J&L Steel had been planning to open a new deep mine there, but pressure from that township's commissioners and residents have prompted the company to withdraw that proposal. In Washington, the Senate takes up that multi-billion-dollar tax problem today. Yesterday, Senate Republicans met with the president to talk over the actual amount of a possible tax cut. John Cochran reports.
Republican congressional leaders emerged from meeting with the president to say he might accept a tax cut of about $25 billion instead of the $16 billion he'd requested. But the Republican leaders said that in return, Mr. Ford will insist that Congress hold down federal spending to reasonable levels. Later, the recession was on the president's mind as he attended the swearing in of his new labor secretary, John Dunlop, a Harvard economics professor.
The issue of jobs for Americans is the #1 problem on our agenda. And I will rely on John for sound, practical programs that will bring jobs and assistance the very quickest to those who need the help the most.
Unlike most labor secretaries, Dunlop will have a major voice in economic decisions. And unlike the most recent labor secretary, Dunlop is expected to get along with union leaders. Today, Dunlop and President Ford will meet with the head of the Teamsters Union. John Cochran, NBC News, the White House.
If the Senate approves that tax cut on Friday, then it has to go back into committee for all of the minor details to be ironed out.
The House has approved a new federal strip mining bill. It's almost identical to the one that President Ford vetoed last December. The 333 to 86 vote is still way above what it would take to override another veto by the president. Now, the new bill bans strip mining anywhere that the land cannot be completely reclaimed. It also provides for a reclamation tax of 35 cents a ton on the strip mine coal. Environmental groups are all for the new legislation, but spokesmen for the coal industry say it's just going to increase the cost of energy. Well, if you think a stream running right outside your back door would be a pleasure this spring, take a look at the trouble it's brought a Hampton Township family. Here's Wayne Van Dyne and his Action Line report.
To Bassett Lane in Hampton Township for this report. Valerie and Robert Azen live here. Oh, they love it. It's very pretty, especially on a sunny day. But they're having a problem with the township due to a creek that runs behind the house. When the township installed this sewer system, they changed the course of this creek somewhat. Oh, it's very pretty in the summertime, but it's devastating in time of flood, particularly if your well water is located along the bank of that creek, a bank which is rapidly eroding.
Well, we moved to this house last year, and there was a retaining wall put up for protection of our well. And the day after we moved in, the water came up pretty high and contaminated our well and washed the wall that they had built to protect the well in the house. And we've been after the township for about a year now to put the wall back up, and they keep saying that they will, but they won't. And now our well is exposed, and we've been having a problem with our water, and we have to keep getting it checked, you know, because it's our only source of drinking.
In addition to the constant worry about their only water supply in that well, you can see there's only so much property left, 6 or 8 feet, and they're afraid the whole house might eventually go in the creek if something isn't done soon. The State Environmental Protection Service was here. They checked it. They agree it's bad. They have notified Hampton Township officials to take action and repair that retaining wall as soon as possible. So far, no action. What about it, Hampton Township? Maybe it's more convenient for you to schedule it at a future time, but these people can't wait. They need the action now. This is Wayne Van Dyne in Hampton Township.
In sports now, the St. Louis Blues extended their at-home winning streak to 9 games last night at the expense of our Penguins. Blues popped in 3 third-period goals to give them a 5-3 margin. The Pens have already moved on to California. They'll be facing the California Golden Seals tonight. And Pitt's basketball team saw its NIT ambitions go down the drain last night when the Panthers were overrun 101-80 by the Providence Friars. Perhaps you've been wondering just how the Pirates are doing down in spring training. Well, we get this report now from John Gross.
Pittsburgh Pirates had the worst record in the majors on June 7th. But the second half of the season, they won 51 of their last 76 games and nailed down the National League East pennant on the last day of the season.
Well, I think all baseball world knows that we had forearm operations on our 10 men last year. And right now, they have all pitched about 3 innings. But naturally, I can't make any judgment on that because I think the first time around, the pitcher's just getting acquainted with the mound against live competition. So I'd have to say, if you asked me that question about 3 or 4 starts from now, I'd sure have a better answer.
What about the National League East pennant race?
That's going to be another humdinger. You know, John, the last 2 years, the race has been finished one day after the season was over. Last year was finished in the 10th inning of the last game, and I don't see any reason why it shouldn't go that deep this year. In fact, I've often said if you give any one club in our division 2 players having outstanding years they hadn't counted upon, they can go from last to first.
The Pirates picked up only 2 players during the offseason, a backup catcher and a relief pitcher. So this year's lineup is expected to be identical to last season, and many people feel Pittsburgh's lineup will give identical results. First place in the National League East. This is John Gross reporting.
And you better get your plans made. The Pirates' home opener right here at the stadium is set for the 11th of next month, and it will be against New York. Maybe we can dry out the town by then. It's probably not much solace to you, but most of Pennsylvania is having some rain today, and some heavy rains are going to be hitting the eastern areas of the state. Our area is going to have a windy afternoon with occasional rain and possibly a thunder shower this afternoon. Present temperature is 46 degrees. Relative humidity, 82%. And the barometer is falling from 29.57. Winds from the east at 11 miles per hour. Not too spirited yet. High today is going to be about 54. Temperature will dip to the mid-30s tonight when there'll be considerable cloudiness and considerable wind with a chance of showers. By tomorrow afternoon, the low-pressure system that's causing all this will be clear of our area, and we should see the sun again. Looking now at Ken's 5-day forecast, tomorrow we'll have a high of 46 with clearing skies and some sunshine. Friday, and that's the first day of spring, will bring still more sun with a high of 44. Then some showers on Saturday, but ending by Sunday with temperatures probably dipping into the mid-40s. So all in all, that's not bad. Good springtime forecast.
This rain has finally washed away the last of the snow. I saw the crocus. What is the plural of crocus?
Croci?
Croci. And
crocuses?
Tulips are starting to come up. See, some of the nation's most treasured documents and artifacts have been packed away in a 25-car train for a 2-year trip around the country. The Freedom Train received its final touches yesterday right here in Pittsburgh. The train is being prepared for its journey by a Pittsburgh firm, and John Faust, president of the Freedom Train Foundation, explained its significance for Newswatch reporter Jack ETZEL.
Well, we would like to take a representation of our 200 years of history around to the citizens of our country into their own local community. We think it can also be used as a focal point for local bicentennial activities.
Some of the statistics in connection with this trek are rather impressive. How many communities and how many miles do you suppose will be traveled and visited by this train?
Well, right now we have over 80 cities that are on our tentative schedule. The train will go more than 17,000 miles in a 21-month period. We do have 40 additional cities that would like the train to visit their community, which we're going to try to work into our schedule as we can.
The nation's bicentennial celebration officially started March 1st. You're entitled to unemployment benefits even if you're out of work because of long hair and a beard. That's the ruling from the state Supreme Court, and it reversed a Commonwealth Court order. The case came up when a Reading, Pennsylvania man was called back to work after a layoff. He was told that he would have to shave off the beard and cut his hair before he could go back on the job. The Supreme Court says he refused the job with good cause, and he is entitled to the unemployment money.
We'll be taking a look at the rest of the day's developments right after we take time out for this quick break.
Mud Frickert here for Superior's Frankie's, the Keener Wiener. You know, I remember when we were on safari, the natives grabbed the mister and threw him in a big pot. He was so scared, he shriveled up and turned off their appetites. So I took him out and threw in some Frankies. They stayed plump and juicy and tasty because they're all meat. So, friends, if you've got young, restless natives around your house, feed them Frankies, the Keener Wiener, the hot dog that's really cool. Yeah.
Come here, Mom. I gotta talk to you. When you buy me a sugarless gum, would you please get a sugarless that's fun new Bazooka Sugarless bubblegum. Me and the kids, we love blowing bubbles, and Bazooka happens to be one of the juiciest, tastiest bubblegums ever. And like you say, Mom, since it's sugarless, there's less chance of me getting cavities. Stick with me, Mom. I'll let you know what's happening.
Bazooka Sugarless, in stores now.
Hi, I'm Wally Bruner. You know, if you're planning on building a new home or remodeling your present home, there's something you should think about. A beautiful contemporary fireplace like this one from Majestic. You know, there's nothing like a fireplace to brighten up a room, add color and warmth to a dark corner, and a touch of romance. See the wonderful world of Majestic fireplaces.
See these and many other fireplaces at The Fireplace, located in the Lebanon Shops, South Hills, and 4920 McKnight Road, North Hills.
All the colors of a stained glass window captured on bath towels. It's Sears' best-selling stained glass pattern. On sale now at a fantastic 40% off. One side velvety soft, the other fluffy, and 40% off. Coordinated bath rugs, carpets, stained glass accessories, and shower curtains, now 20% off. Fill your bathroom with the colors of stained glass, on sale now exclusively at Sears.
Railroad union officials here in Pennsylvania have taken a shot at Governor Schaap for coming out in favor of a 40-ton truck limit in the state. Schaap told the Association of Steel Haulers over the weekend that he's for upping the 73,000-pound limit to 80,000 in order to bring us in line with new national standards. At hearings here yesterday on that new railroad reorganization plan, union spokesmen said the higher weight limits are going to endanger other drivers and hike the cost of highway construction and maintenance. Our County Commissioner Tom Forrester told the same group that it just doesn't make sense to okay bigger trucks while motorists are being forced to switch to smaller cars.
And in labor news, there have been counter-proposals made in that New York doctors' strike. In the nation's first official doctors' strike, the interns and residents of New York's 22 hospitals walked off the job on Monday morning. The hospital management made a new offer today that will be discussed by the strikers at a membership meeting tonight. The big issue in the strike is working hours. The doctors want maximum 80-hour weeks and 15-hour days. They currently are working double that amount.
We went on strike. We know that our capacity to deliver quality care is severely interfered with by being on our feet for 34, 36, 40, 50, 60 hours without a break.
Granted, that's not ideal, but this is a training for a career. These men are going to be specialists when they get out, and they're going to be working doctors, practitioners. Now, if a man is an obstetrician, and he's already delivered 5 babies today, and the 6th woman goes into labor, what's he going to say? I'm sorry, I've done my quota for the day?
And while the strikers are on the picket line, operations continue to run smoothly, with attending physicians and other non-striking staff taking up the slack. However, serious problems could develop in a couple of days. Well, there's apparently been a breakthrough in that Philadelphia transit strike. Both sides broke off negotiations yesterday afternoon, but then they got back together secretly last night. They have reportedly reached a tentative agreement. It is only tentative, and we'll have to sort of wait and see what happens. It's unofficial. It all hinges on getting about $13 million in extra aid from the state. Philadelphia's transit workers have been off the job for 4 days now. Their walkout has had a heavy effect on 400,000 commuters.
The state Senate's okayed 11 of Governor Schaap's selections for cabinet posts in his second administration. Transportation Secretary Jacob Kassoff and Community Affairs Chief William Wilcox were the first to be confirmed. And Wilcox, by the way, was the only one of the 11 who drew any negative votes. That leaves 6 other cabinet-level officers still to be confirmed. Well, there's another battle coming up between Congress and the White House, and it has to do with that proposed increase in Social Security benefits. Congress wants an 8.7% boost. The White House wants to hold that amount down to just 5%. But our senior citizens say that neither one of those amounts will be sufficient.
Almost all of the 69 residents living here in the senior citizens' apartments depend on Social Security. Some receive pensions in some form, but Social Security is their mainstay. Rent here does not entirely consume their benefits. The people here live in a modern apartment complex run by a Black Baptist Church Association on Center Avenue. The elderly here say it is the only housing they can afford to live in dignity. But residents say a 5 or even an 8% increase in Social Security benefits is not enough to cover housing, food, and medical needs.
It would help some,
but it'd be very, very little, but it would help. Every little is a help.
Does Social Security pay enough now?
After make out with it, don't pay enough. You know, time you go downtown, pay $1 and something for a pound of stuff, get back and cook it, pay your rent, buy your clothes, your shoes. Sometimes it's a little tough.
Do you ever get angry about having to struggle this way?
No, I don't, because I still say I'm blessed, because 1,000 folks don't have as much as I have. And I really don't complain about it because I believe God will open my way.
An increased Social Security rate is scheduled to go into effect on the 1st of July.
The state Supreme Court has handed down a verdict that says that write-in votes do not count for a candidate whose name is already on a voting machine. That decision came in it was a disputed 1973 election for tax collector in Jackson Township, and that is in Butler County. William Yerger edged Norman Frederick in that balloting 207 to 205. Well, Frederick then contested the outcome because 8 write-in votes had not been counted. The Supreme Court says they shouldn't have been. Now that reverses an earlier ruling in the Butler County courts. Well, it is lottery time, so check your little pieces of paper. Winning numbers in this week's Pennsylvania Double Dollars Lottery: 2, 4, 4, 2, 5, 3, 9, 1, 8, 3, 8, 1, 8, 3, 9, 1, 7, 5, and the doubler is 0. Time now to roll the newsreel camera and check out a celebration, a dinner, and a recital.
Gertrude Rapp was the artist for a recital of music from the Old Harmony Society in the Ohio Valley. The occasion also served as an awards dinner for volunteers who'd contributed their efforts to the Old Economy Project. The Christian Mothers Group at Mary Immaculate St. Cyprian Church was the sponsor of this spaghetti dinner in the church basement. Plenty to eat provided all the attraction that was necessary. This year's Valentine's Day celebration at the Economy Elementary School included the selection of a king and a queen from each room. The observance was capped by a combined grades dance.
Now let's look back over some of the top news stories of this hour. We've had a series of drug raids in the Mon Valley this morning. Another province has been surrendered in Vietnam, and a 15-year-old high school student is being held for the murder of 83-year-old Nevada Bellman of Shadyside. State Senator Frank Mazzei will be sentenced on extortion charges March 28th. Taking a look at the weather, don't expect the rain to go away quickly today. It's going to stay with us with mild temperatures. However, tomorrow we'll have clearing and nice weather, high of 46 degrees. We're getting all set for Friday, which is the first day of spring. Fridays should be a sunny, mild, very nice day. That's the noon edition of Newswatch. We invite you to tune in tonight for a full 90-minute report. That's tonight at 6 on Newswatch. Now for Bob and the entire Newswatch staff, I'm Eleanor Schano. Have a good day.
You have just seen Newswatch, the most complete, factual, and pictorial television news broadcast available. The next Newswatch at 6 this evening.
Buongiorno. That's good day from Benvenuti's, bakers of fresh, hearth-baked Italian rolls and bread. Appetizing, aren't they? And they taste as good as they look because Benvenuti's captures that old-world Italian flavor so many bakeries find hard to do. And they do it daily and deliver their products fresh that same day to your neighborhood.